Hello, everybody, and welcome back to a Kiomet Timelapse. Another one. Shocker. This time I am playing as Dundaxia. I listened to a lot of Glory Hammer while building this empire, and I have quite the pain train rolling through my territory. This is probably the most pronounced pain train that I've built. The pain train being, of course, this line of troops that encompass my territory. But we're going to start. I'm going to park my mouse next to my king, and we're just going to go. So I ended this game. This player over here was fighting me a little bit, but I think they end up giving up rather quickly. But this was an interesting game. I had multiple large wars with multiple large people, and it was exciting. I started out surrounded by players, and I just kind of slowly worked myself out until I became quite large and bumped up against Paris Commune. Paris Commune is a player I've seen multiple times in the game, and I thought about fighting a war with them at one point, but I was like, yeah, they're usually pretty chill as long as you don't fight them, so I just kind of left them do their own thing. And that's what I did. So, of course, we got the nibbles of the bots up here, as always is the case. But I'll be honest with you, I don't really like making these long snakes of troops. I know it's a very common tactic that a lot of players use, but I prefer my troops to be a little bit more modular. So that, like, this will be a cluster of units, this will be a cluster of units, this will be a cluster of units, etc., etc. And then I can kind of send them around and attack from different flanks. I have broken my own fair share of pain trains doing that. The single line of troops makes a really powerful offense, but I found that it's just not versatile enough for my liking, and that's my personal preference. Everybody prefers different ways of going about things, especially for like being AFK, like this here. As you'll see, it'll be fairly easy for somebody to break in and cut my line, and if they cut my line early enough in the chain, then all of this will just fall apart. Of course, if I was just playing for a little bit, it wouldn't be a big deal. If I returned in the morning to pick up and recapture my losses, it also would not be a big deal. Certainly, it's kept me alive for a while, but I don't know, not my preference. So we have, I believe this is Goetia, but it's kind of hard to tell because their name's not centralized. Maybe this is Goetia. I don't know, but Paris Commune is still there, still going strong. Okay, that was not Goetia. That was another player that I just couldn't see the name of it. Then fat line of bots coming through. Yes. This is the way. And so far, nobody has really messed with me. I've lost a little bit of territory to bots, but I'm sitting comfortably in the safe zone, or the green zone, where I'm, as I've mentioned in all of my time lapses, where I'm a little bit too small for people to want to pick fights with me, but I'm also a little bit too big for people to pick fights with me. And that just seems to lead to longer-lived empires. Players who pick fights tend to either pick fights with the higher-ranked players or players not on the leaderboard, not someone who is in the middle or the bottom of the chain. That's just what I've noticed. I could be wrong. Who knows? And my line gets broken right here, so that will cut back on a lot of the defenses of this northern area. I believe a bot did that, but maybe it was a tactical attack by Goetia. I will always completely destroy names, and I will not even try with the non-English characters. Or non-Latin. Non-Latin? I don't know. The writing that I'm unfamiliar with. Often you'll see them talking in the chat, and I just tend to pull up Google Translate just to see what they're saying. Not really that interesting. And right here, the chain got broken as well. I believe it's also by Goetia. I believe he is. I can't really tell if he's slowly encroaching. My size hasn't really changed for a while, though. But I'm bordered by several players, no bots, which tends to lead to a stable border because bots are absolutely miserable and ruin your day. Bots are not fun. I thought Eve was a bot, but maybe not. Wintermute is definitely a bot. And we approach the 6-hour mark. Things are going okay. I haven't really lost that much land. I was at 1,700 points. I've lost about 300 points, which is not a small amount, but it's not significant either. A few hundred points between friends, you know. I believe this is just going to be a recurring bot area. There's a zombie pit down here, I think, that was causing me a lot of trouble, so I kind of just defined my borders to be a little ways away from it. The zombie pits spawn zombies, and the larger you are, the more zombies it spawns. And the more zombie pits there are in one area, the more zombies it spawns. So you see this area up here would not spawn very many zombies, but this area down here would spawn more. And I think there's 3 or 4... there's like a cluster of them in here that just spawns a lot of zombies. You can kind of see this unclaimed area there. Well, it was unclaimed. But things continue to be relatively quiet as I'm almost getting edged off of the leaderboard, Eve taking a large portion of Dondoxia's land. And then departing, and leaving me at the mercy of the bots. Of course. I just noticed that my timer's a little off screen. I don't think there's anything I could really do about that at this point, unfortunately. But it is what it is. Let's see. Let's see if I can adjust on the fly. Nope. This is a horrible idea, by the way. There we go. It kind of works. I guess it's not really off the screen. Ooh. Little bit of back and forth there between me and the bot, but eventually the bot disperses. Bots are amusing creatures. Oftentimes they will just destroy themselves and lose their king. So Paris Commune finally leaves, which means all of these players are now new compared to the start of the game. I am on 8 hours now. And Red Army all encompasses this land. This Chinese player over here, and Jay fill in the gaps. Covered the areas that were once other players, and then the Chinese player leaves. And once again, it's anybody's game. We have this back and forth again here once again. That's okay. 9 hours in, and just due to the fact that players have left the game that were larger, we are now back in the middle of the leaderboard. Slightly smaller points, though. We're at 1,400. We were at 1,500 earlier. So there is that. And Pain Train absolutely destroying these bots over here in this corner. So maybe I was wrong about the Pain Train being a good AFK strategy. I don't know. Like I said, I prefer it to be a little bit more modular so that one section doesn't completely fall, but it's doing okay. Atlas, another bot, making some inroads here, as is Wintermute to the south. Slowly but surely, As is often the case, we are losing land. And eventually things won't go so well. So I recapture that area. I just realized I haven't been playing music this entire time. Well, I guess this time you'll just have to deal with the dulcet sound of my voice. Hopefully that will be enough for you, because I'm not doing this for a second time. Kiomet Woody was on the leaderboard earlier, but is now back and on my border, which is fine. It's absolutely fine. But overall, we've lost a little bit of land, but we are still mostly intact as we reach the 11-hour mark. Impressive. Fairly impressive. I am fairly pleased by all of this. But we are getting a lot more bots, and the bots are pushing deeper and deeper into my territory. So I believe this person over here is not a bot. But these are, this is a bot, this is a bot, this is a bot. Bixby is a bot. MQ1 is a bot. Most of these players down here are not bots. So it's mostly being eaten away in the north, slowly but surely. As we hit the 12-hour mark. Delicious. Delicious, delicious time lapse. And funnily enough, we are near the top of the leaderboard. We are at 1,200 points. And we are at the top of the leaderboard. Done absolutely nothing. I've been AFK for 12 and a half hours, and I am at the top. The bot Optimus Prime deciding to gobble a little bit of land. But mostly the players have left me alone. But slowly but surely, our pain train has fallen apart. We still have units running around, but it is not as cohesive as it was. The bots have largely destroyed this entire section. You can see they're just throwing nuke after nuke and pushing deep into the territory and causing a lot of damage. They do die. Bots have a tendency of suiciding their king accidentally, but the double teamed by the bot there on the top, they did quite a bit of damage. Dropped me by about 300 points. Unfortunate. Unfortunate. And now with the train of units now broken, the bots will begin making inroads. And unfortunately, my king is right there. Right there. I don't know where my mouse is, but that's where my king is. Right there. As, once again, the bots attack. And not just the bots, but Cook running through my territory. Oh, man. He is really going at it. He is pushing for all the points he can get. He's making inroads, destroying things, destroying my dudes. He has made a significant dent on the poor little empire of Dondoxia. Once a grand empire, now quite small, and he's continuing to go. He's just going at it. Yes, it's exactly the kind of war that I want to see. And then he leaves, which is unfortunate. And it makes me sad. He was so close, too. My king's right there. My king's right there. He could have nuked it. He could have nuked it. Paris Commune's back, by the way. Not sure if anybody else noticed that, but I just noticed it. Jay and Radkinson, all these players up here are within nuking range. But they don't. They leave it be. As we approach the 16-hour mark. Kakukoshi departs. And we are now down to 600 points as the timer slows down to normal speed. So I will take this moment to say, if you've enjoyed this video, even if I have completely screwed up and didn't play any music or audio at all, there's just been the dulcet sound of my voice. And unfortunately, once again, I lose my connection to the server. Now, one thing that I have noticed is that the server... Excuse me, I'm not done with you yet. Stay full screen. Unfortunately, while I was doing this, I noticed that the servers were having issues, like significant issues. At one point, I logged into the game and made a fairly decent-sized empire, and the server went from about 70 players to 20 in the span of not very long. But this is the third time lapse that unfortunately did not end in a kill. It ended with a disconnect. But we saw some nice little action there, a little bit of combat. So, till next time, happy gaming.